Okay, first slide, please. Good afternoon and welcome to the Sustainability webinar. My name is Martin Butler. I am the Director for Construction, Planning and Built Environment at the DN Colleges Group. This webinar is to look at what is happening locally and how the college can aid local businesses meet the net zero target. But firstly, before I introduce the presenters, a brief look at the DN College Group. The DN College Group includes sites at North Lindsey College, the University Campus North Lincolnshire, Doncaster College and University Campus, and the Humber Energy Skills Training Academy at Hull. As a college, we are the 5th largest provider of apprenticeships in the UK, with over 2,000 apprentices on programme at this moment in time. The college group is also the largest provider of higher education with over 2,000 learners. As a group, our key focus is on sector-based provision, particularly engineering, manufacturing, construction and health and social care. These sectors all contribute to the green economy. Our aim is to complement existing skills and evolve our delivery to follow local business needs. Next slide, please. Primarily, the college looks to complement the local labour market, but we can access much more support for both individuals and businesses. A brief summary of this would be: we could provide funding for short courses, and we can aid and fund development of new learning resources. This could be end user support. We can also supply funding to upskill your staff to be trainers or assessors, and also funding to support employer and college co-development. To aid this, we have developed a new classroom area at the university campus for employer access. This could aid product training or staff development, or for you and your employees. Most of these services are free, so please get in touch. Next slide, please. The webinar this afternoon is a sample of what is happening locally, plus some innovative ideas. We will also look at how the college complements this. First, we have a company called iHelios that will introduce us to an innovative product, followed by a brief introduction into flood planning for the construction cycle from the Flood Planning Innovation Centre based at the University of Hull. Third, today we will have a brief tour of the Humber Energy Skills Training Academy, HESTA, based in Hull. And finally today, we will have a course tutor from the college group who will discuss how we deliver the wind turbine apprenticeship and how students engage with this. So thank you. I hope you enjoy what you see today. Our first speaker will be John Johnson from iHelios. John Johnson from iHelios.
Great, thank you very much indeed for that, Martin. As Martin said, my name is John Johnson. I'm the Managing Director at iHelios. Next slide, please. But I was going to give you a little overview of the company and actually what we do here in Hull. Next slide, please. So iHelios is actually sort of based on 3 different companies. There's iHelios Limited, which is what we're really going to talk about today. There's also an energy company that actually deal with solar PV, battery storage and EV charging. And then we actually have basically a building and refurbishment company as well. And they actually deal with sort of all matters building and what have you, So as Martin mentioned, we're a Hull-based company and we specialise really in the design, development and manufacture of what we call innovative, environmentally conscious and integrated heating property control systems. Our primary technology is something called iHelios, which basically is a low heat radiant heating system, which is, we think, is a sort of pretty much a seismic breakthrough in heating technology. If I kind of show you this, because in the video it was actually in there as well, but I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's an incredibly thin heating film which can be discreetly located within sort of in ceilings, suspended ceilings, exposed ceilings, in walls and what have you. And we make them into bespoke panels as well, but specifically for the sort of social housing market, we've actually got some real traction in that sector and actually sort of, giving them a solution that actually is very easy to install. We can go in and install within a day and be out very, very quickly. So there's an awful lot of benefits for the product that we offer, our main heating product, in both commercial and domestic settings. In addition to that, we actually have what we call the iHelios Living suite of products as well. And that actually includes obviously the heating thermostats that we actually have, but the heating thermostats are actually controlled via apps or can be done manually. But in addition to that, we've actually also included a suite of other smart tech from lighting, security, safety and monitoring systems also. So we've got a whole ecosystem, not just heating, but controls of a variety of different types. We now actually export to Europe, actually, well, a couple of different companies in Europe, the iHelios product as well. and we are working with a sort of network of installers, which is growing all the time. We've also actually been obviously supported very much by DN colleges too, with actually assisting in that process, and hope to enjoy a sort of long-term working relationship with them to develop training courses and what have you for the installers that we're working with. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Are we there? Or is it, we've got a problem?
What's the producer now? Who's hosting those slides, John? I'm so sorry. She'll be coming back in and
okay, not a problem. Well, I'll try and just carry on. So the next slide effectively just shows our new training academy that we've actually built here. At the offices where we are, you see it in the video, we actually purchased the building that we're actually located in, and we've actually redeveloped it into 6 apartments upstairs, and then all of those actually sort of host all the smart tech and the heating systems and everything that we actually provide. And on the ground floor, we actually have our main head offices here, as well as, am I still broadcasting or?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay. So as well as actually our head office on the ground floor, we've also got some additional commercial units that we actually let, and we've got our training centre here also. I'm just trying to think where we are on the slides. Effectively, the space that we're actually in is very, very changeable. There's a whole variety of different regulations that are coming down the track. Whether or not that's actually here we are. We've got the slides back. So there's some pictures there of our new training centre, and here we go. If you go forward one. Great. Okay. So effectively, of course, Martin mentioned earlier on the government 10-point plan. And from our point of view, we're very much involved in sort of the greener buildings element of that, because obviously the variety of different solutions that they're actually working on. There's an enormous change in regulations. Future Home Standard is something that is actually going to affect everybody really over the coming years. From 2025, effectively anyone that's actually building a new home or offices or what have you can't actually fit a gas connection to that, as well as any other solution that actually uses a boiler that emits any greenhouse gases at all. So again, from our point of view, we're working, with a variety of different new builders and other parties as well to actually develop solutions for them with using our heating system. We, within iHelios Energy, actually are working with some builders as well to deliver EV charging points from the beginning of this year. There is, and if you build a new home, they actually have to have an EV charging point connected there as well. And there's also changes to SAP calculations, which if you know what they are, obviously in new buildings, they're very relevant. And also just for general EPCs, they actually sort of provide the data that sits behind those also. And then the final sort of part is that we're also working with a couple of energy companies to assist them in the delivery of their carbon obligations too. Next slide, please. So I mentioned that before. So from 2025, no gas connections in new homes or offices. And that doesn't include just gas, but it's any kind of greenhouse emitting solutions from those particular properties. And then the next slide, please. From 2035, irrespective of what the building type is, you won't be able to replace any type of fossil fuel emitting boilers. So that'd be gas, oil, or anything else for that matter as well. So from a regulatory point of view, a lot of change is actually coming down the track. Working.
I've come along to the headquarters of iHelios, an innovative developer and manufacturer of environmentally conscious smart heating and integrated property control systems. They've transformed what was a tired old building into this, their vibrant new head office, visitor centre, a training academy, and also 6 modern apartments to showcase the iHelios smart living technology. They've also installed a 12.8 kilowatt solar PV system on the roof, which provides most of their electricity. Even the security camera has its own solar panel. And each of these apartments has achieved an A-rated energy performance certificate, which for an electric heating system is truly remarkable. So let's go inside and see how it's done. iHelios is on a mission to change the way we think about heating, lighting, security, and ways we manage our energy consumption. There are 27 million homes across Britain, and over 22 million use mains gas to heat them, with a further 3 million using either oil or calogas. That's 86% of all homes, emitting over 250 million tonnes of harmful greenhouse gases every year. Little wonder then that the new Future Homes Standard, which comes into effect in 2024, says that no newly built house or commercial building can have a mains gas connection, and from 2035 you won't be able to replace your existing gas or oil-fired boiler in any property type. The Helios Far infrared heating system is a significant breakthrough in environmentally friendly space heating technology. It has a UK certificate of conformity for health, for safety, for environmental protection, and it's 100% recyclable. This remarkable wafer-thin heating system can be installed in suspended or exposed ceilings, under floors, or in custom-made wall panels, and it makes it completely invisible. Its simple and smart control features means this system offers so many benefits to both the domestic and commercial market, from independent property landlords through to builders, property developers, architects, and even interior designers will all benefit from this because it can be installed in a vast array of property types, from houses that are being redeveloped through to commercial buildings going through the same process, modular buildings, sectional buildings. The marine industry, sailing boats can benefit from this, mobile and static caravans, and a vast array of more of other property types as well. that was the iHelios app, which allows us to gain access into one of the apartments that I want to show you around. It's an app that will also allow me to control all the systems, from all the interior lighting right through to the temperature I'd like my bath. So let's go take a look. All the doors in the building can be opened via a fingerprint, a 6-digit code, or you could use an old-fashioned key, I suppose.
Unlocked. 001. Locked.
And from the moment you walk in, the magic starts. The hall light comes on automatically, as does the heating. Now, the iHelios heating system produces instant infrared radiant heat, which, unlike convector heating through radiators, for example, doesn't heat the air in the room. It heats the objects in the room, which includes me. It's a bit like going out on a cold day and the sun comes out, you know, that burst of the sun's radiation that warms you through. Though, of course, with the iHelios system, you get to control how warm you want it to be. It can take hours, can't it, for a traditional heating system to warm the air in a house. And we all know what warm air does. It rises, which means the warmest part of any room is up at the ceiling. And that's not very efficient. And that's not the case with the iHelios system. Within a few minutes, you'll start to feel its warmth. And I say magical because other than thermostats, there's no evidence there's a heating system here at all. No radiators to restrict living space. You have a completely blank canvas. Let's have a look at the system through an infrared camera so you can see for yourself. Clearly you can see the heating panels. However, what's remarkable is there are no cold spots as the heat is being evenly distributed throughout the room. Not only does this make the room more comfortable, but even on the coldest day, because the heating is warming objects, not drying out the air in the room, there's little or no condensation on the windows, which of course can create damp and black mold. Everything in this smart home is controlled via the iHelios app, and this is unique to the company. Other businesses certainly use apps, but they tend to focus only on one thing at a time. So you have an app for the heating, a separate app for security, and so on. Not so here. All iHelios devices are controlled via a single management app. Everything the company does is concentrated on maximum comfort and using minimal energy. Take the lights, for example. Now, they're all low energy LEDs, and though you can control them manually, like that, if you happen to leave a light on and there's no movement in the room for a set period of time, after that set period of time, the lights will turn themselves off. That's got to be every parent's dream, hasn't it? Every room has its own thermostat, so all the temperatures can be individually set. For instance, I can be here in the kitchen and sitting room and want the temperature at 21 degrees. The other rooms, well, the temperatures can either be switched off altogether or higher and lower. The choice will be entirely mine. Let me give you another example. Nearly my bedtime. Now, either I can have the system already set so that the heating will change at a given time, and when I go to bed, the heating in here will switch off automatically, or I just go into the bedroom part in the app and I can alter the temperature of the bedroom while I'm still watching the late movie. Literally everything in here can be programmed into your app. And don't worry, if you lose your smartphone, then everything can be also operated manually. And iHelios can also provide you with a dedicated tablet like this one, and this remains in the home. What the team at iHelios have created here is something really, truly magical. A genuine smart home, all controlled by a single-use app. And it even tells you when your pizza's arrived. Hello.
Next slide, please. So just a real quick overview of that. So effectively, the system that we've actually got, we design it in a number of different ways. So basically it comes in either 300, 500 mil or 1 meter wide rolls effectively. That enables us to actually sort of really design them very specifically to each space. So whether or not that's actually a whole house or a single room, if you've just built an extension, we can actually just literally specify it specifically for that area. The thermostats are the smart part of the whole system. We actually have thermostats throughout each zone within the house, so every room has its own thermostat. So instead of actually, you know, as was in the video, you can be in one room and literally just manage the heat in every single room rather than have it centralised in a hallway with one thermostat within the property. We provide a 20-year warranty. There's no moving parts whatsoever with the system. So effectively, even though there's a 20-year warranty, the life expectancy is 30 to 40 years. I won't go into the details of precisely how it works at this stage, but essentially, other than your sort of 5 or 10-year electrical checks, there's no other additional costs of actually managing the system other than actually running it. Installations, as we mentioned, ceilings under floors, bespoke wall panels, secondary ceilings and what have you as well. So there's a whole variety of ways that we can install it. It really is simple to install as well. So we have people coming on training courses here within a day. They're very familiar with all the technology, how to install it, what the do's and don'ts are, so on and so forth. And the operating costs are really quite low as well. Certainly when paired with the solar PV system, then you can actually get it down to either very low costs or zero costs in some cases, depending on the size of the system and if you use battery storage too. So, you know, that's a little bit about our company and what we're up to. It's an exciting time for actually anyone involved in this particular sector, and we're delighted to actually be working with DN colleges, you know, going forward to actually help us with some of the training programs that we're actually running.
So good afternoon. Thank you to the team at North Lindsey for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Anton James and I work for the Flood Innovation Centre at the University of Hull. If you have any questions for me, on the last slide, there will be some information of my email address, so please feel free to either drop me an email or drop the questions in the chat afterwards. So first, I'll explain a little bit more about what the Flood Innovation Centre is and does. We primarily exist to support SMEs. We're funded from the ERDF, European Regional Development Fund, funding that is intended to create jobs and economic growth. So we provide innovation support to businesses to develop flood solutions. Next slide, please. So on this graphic, basically what we will work with, we talk about innovation. So innovation could be anything new to your actual business or a new process to the actual market. So we're trying to focus now on the construction industry, and we're basically saying from this graphic is that we can help you at any stage of the construction cycle, no matter which point you're at. So whether it's just a concept phase and it's just something where it's in your mind and you're thinking, right, okay, well, we're considering surveying or looking at a certain premises or a certain area, then that's something where we can get involved with, and we can say, well, actually, are you considering flood within that at this point? And also design, pre-construction, procurement stage, construction stage, and post-construction. I think the flooding aspect of it can be touched on at each point of the cycle. Next slide, please. So this is just a bit of a film, really, which will show you guys what we can do for the Flood Innovation Centre. Sorry if we've gone one slide too far. So can I just share this video which I've got?
Are you a small business operating in the construction industry? Are you looking to grow the commercial services and products you offer to your clients? If yes, the Flood Innovation Centre is here to help at no cost to your business. Construction businesses like yours play a key role in reducing flood risk. This includes dealing with excess surface water at the source, reducing the amount of water entering a building, minimising the damage caused by floodwater, and removing it more quickly. There are opportunities for small businesses working at every stage in the construction process to introduce and improve flood resilience. Whatever role you play in the construction process, we can help your business to improve the products and services you provide to your clients. We can provide support to surveyors and consultants working to improve site assessments of flood risk and impact. If you develop and design construction projects, we can work with you to build flood resilience into your solutions. Before you start work, you're going to need to find like-minded businesses who also understand the importance of flood resilience. We can help simplify the planning process by connecting you with those businesses. To plan your flood resilient project, we can help you access the latest products, technologies and materials available. We can also support you to educate subcontractors on flood resilience through supply chain support. Whatever your trade, we can support your business to lead with the latest developments in flood resilience. Flood resilience measures need to be properly maintained to remain effective. This is a great way to build a long-lasting relationship with your clients. As flooding increases, demand for contractors with flood resilience expertise will continue to grow. The support we provide could lead to real commercial benefits and help you to build your flood resilience reputation. We can also introduce you to the basic principles of the Property Flood Resilience Code of Practice, should you wish to gain accreditation for your services. If you work for one of these businesses, get in touch today. You can find out more on our website or complete an inquiry form, or follow us on our socials.
So thank you for that. I'll just stop sharing that now. And apologies for the video, by the way, because you would have heard my poor voice. So apologies for that audio. But it's more, I think, for us, it's not only construction industry we're focusing on, but that's a big opportunity what we see, and it's not really for the university, it's for you guys and how we can support any sort of construction business. So if you have an idea on flood innovation whatsoever, or even you're just thinking about flooding, it's something that's in your mind, especially we're talking today from Humber region, then please, yeah, get in touch. And next slide, please. Yeah, and again, thank you for your time. So you can see my details there, my email address. So if anyone has any ideas or you just wanted to have a general chat and see whether this fits in with yourselves, please give me a call. Thank you. And next, I'm passing you on to Lisa Douglas.
Hello, my name is Lisa Douglas and I'm the Centre Manager here at Humber Energy Skills Training Academy in Hull. First of all, we have a video to show you.
I'm George Machin, I'm Associate Director for Engineering. What we're trying to do here is develop learners for the future.
My name is Lisa Douglas and I'm the Centre Manager here at Humber Energy Skills. We have some excellent opportunities here. The future workforce will fall short.
There's not enough engineers at the moment in a lot of the skills areas. There's been a drive towards electrical vehicles,
Electric charging points, wind turbines.
and obviously a drive to heat pumps that we're really involved with. New buildings are all going to require these environmentally friendly heating sources, so our training will reflect that and keep up with demands.
It's an ideal and unique training centre with all the resources that we have.
The skills in there are the traditional skills really, electrical, plumbing, mechanical skills as well, but when they combine together they make the unique training for the heat pumps, etc. It's for school leavers and people entering the career, so we've got courses that will develop in towards getting people jobs who haven't got them after leaving school, and current apprentices that are working within companies that need these new skills.
We have some great support from industries around the area.
Yeah, our deal have supplied us with the latest equipment that we need to train these engineers.
Hi, my name's Lizzie Wilkinson and I'm Head of Domestic Product Management here at Ideal Heating. It's really important to us that we, first of all, we nurture talent and skills in our local area. We really want to support the Humber region, but also on sort of a wider level, we know that we need to really support the development of skills, particularly in the area of heat pumps.
There's a lot more in the future that's going to be happening.
The market's going to get bigger and bigger and we need installers coming through that pipeline that can fit these products.
We're going to be delivering for the generations to come.
And it's just really exciting to be part of it.
Right, moving on. In November 2020, the government introduced the 10-point plan for a green industrial revolution. Okay, within the 10-point plan, in point 7, it came under greener buildings. Within point 7, the government actually want their aim to have 600,000 new heat pumps installed every year, which is a lot of heat pumps. That is by the year 2028. And in order to do this, this will be supporting around 50,000 new jobs. So that's 50,000 new jobs that they aim to be supporting by 2030. Now, how we're going to do this is by upskilling the workforce. So a lot of people needed. We do have a skills shortage. So how we're going to do this is working with partners, and then so those who are existing plumbers, existing gas engineers, air conditioning engineers, can train up, use their transferable skills, working along with new qualifications. So that's for existing workers out there. Can also train up school leavers and also apprentices in the form of apprenticeships. We'll go through the qualifications and how we're going to do that. If you want to go to the next slide, please. Okay, we offer 4 different qualifications. I'm actually going to start the one at the bottom there, which is It's a diploma in access to building services in engineering. That's actually aimed at school leavers, and it's actually a full-time course, and that just gives you the stepping stones into the areas of electrical, plumbing and heating, refrigeration, covering heat pumps also. So the building services qualification, health and safety units, there's also environmental units in there. So environmental consideration, we also cover electrical, there's plumbing and heating, and then air conditioning. So it's a really good stepping stone onto anybody who's interested in an apprenticeship. Okay, so we offer 3 apprenticeships. Under the apprenticeship standards, the first one at the top we've got there is refrigeration, air conditioning and heat pumps. So excellent qualification, really popular at the moment. We have a lot of demand for this. From an environmental point of view, so a lot of people think air conditioning units are just for air conditioning. They're not. They can supply, obviously, clean heating if you have an air conditioning unit as well. The next qualification we have on there is the plumbing and domestic heating technician. Now, within the qualification, we actually cover standard plumbing and heating units. So it's everything from installing bathrooms, any sanitation, drain pipes, guttering. So they cover all the plumbing units. And then when they've completed the plumbing units, they can go down different pathways. So there is actually the gas pathway for natural gas. To bear in mind the future, although we're going towards the greener side, there is still the existing gas appliances that may need maintenance, but obviously regarding the regulations and the aims, they are going to be replaced. The other pathway they can then do it is environmental. This is where it covers heat pumps, solar thermal, and then we also have rainwater harvesting. Okay, so all those 3 things are very big on the green agenda. The next apprenticeship that we cover there is the electrical installation and maintenance technician. Big thing as well, everything from maintaining, from maintenance of all electrical appliances, to also installing electrical charge points for cars. It's quite a lot covered within that area. So if we go to the next slide, please. How are we going to deliver those qualifications? Well, we have our 600,000 new facility, which if you can get a link to the video later, you'll be able to have a look around. If not, please feel free to make an appointment, and you can come here anytime. We'll show you around the workshops. We've also been incorporating new qualifications, staff training. So we have dedicated staff for the areas within the qualifications that we offer. But what we also want to add to the existing staff that we've got is transferable skills. Everything within all our 3 apprenticeships standards are all transferable. So you know, when people are out there, there's people going across from air conditioning to installing heat pumps. There's electrical installation, maybe components on the heat pumps. So there's a lot of transferable skills within there, and we also aim to increase staff as well to deliver the demand that's going to be needed. Next slide, please. Right here on the picture we have our air source heat pump from Ideal Standard. A lot of people do worry when they think this is what's going to replace our gas boiler that's stuck on our wall in the kitchen. It's not as scary as it looks when you look at that whole thing there. So if you look from the left hand side, you've actually got the outdoor unit. So this would be outside, and this is called the evaporator. If you're wondering on how air source heat pump works, if you can imagine, it just works in reverse ways what a fridge does. So if you go out, if you say do a big shop, you come home, you put all your shopping in your fridge, and then you go back into your kitchen, and half an hour later, you'll feel the heat that your fridge is kicking off out the back. What that actually is the heat indirectly that is drawing out from your food. So our evaporator outdoor unit there would actually draw any heat from outside, and then it transfers if you look to the second one on the left, the white box with the grey stripe on the wall, this is what's known as a hydro box. This is our indoor unit, and that transfers that heat from outside. Okay, this is through a refrigerant circuit, draws the heat out, then that's transferred to heat the water on the flow and return pipes, what would normally be on your central heating boiler, and then that would heat the system. So if you look at it directly, it's not much more, it doesn't take up much more space than what an existing central heating system does. So this is in our workshop upstairs, so this is for people for upskilling, for working on fault finding on, also dismantling, reinstalling. Right, that's that covers what we do here at Humber Energy Skills Training Academy. Thank you very much. I would now like to pass on to Anton.
Thank you, Lisa. Good evening. My name is Anton Holmes and I'm a tutor with the DN Colleges Group in both business and technology located at the North Lindsey campus. I've been involved with engineering and business, both with the Royal Air Force and industry for over 50 years now. Next slide, please. The government produced last year the 10-point plan for a green industrial revolution. And point one of the plan is advancing offshore wind. And this also will assist in helping achieve several of the other points that rely on electrical energy, such as point 4, which is accelerating the shift in zero emission vehicles, electric cars, and point 9, which is protecting our natural environment. And these will all contribute to the race to zero. As indicated in the plan, a single turn of the wind turbine blades, the latest wind turbines, generate enough electricity to power a house for more than 24 hours. Now, wind farms are located all around the UK coast, and in February 2020, there were a total of some 2,180 turbines in operation around the coast. Off the Yorkshire coast is the Hornsea 1 project, which is currently the world's largest operational wind farm with some 174 turbines. And it has the capability to provide clean energy to 240,000 homes a year. Now, Hornsea 2 is shortly coming online and will eventually exceed Hornsea 1 in terms of power output. And this will be followed by the Hornsea 3, which will add to the total output in the coming years. Now, more turbines are being constructed every day, and this is to meet the demand of achieving some 40 gigawatts of offshore wind from offshore wind by 2030. This will necessitate an annual installation rate of some 260 turbines per year for the next 5 years. Now, DN Colleges Group were approached by Siemens Gamesa, who asked us to provide a training program for their technicians who will be required to help ensure these turbines, located all around the UK coast, are maintained and kept in a running order. Basically, if the blades aren't turning, the company's not earning. Now, we listened to their requirements, but in order to determine the suitable training, we needed to know exactly what the turbines consisted of. Next slide, please. Well, externally, it consists of the tower, on top of which sits the nacelle. And this nacelle alone weighs in the region of some 80 metric tons. Each of the blades weighs in excess of an additional 20 tons. The towers currently have a height of between 100 and 150 meters, but this can vary and could potentially change as blade lengths increase. As I mentioned, sat on top of these towers is the nacelle, which contains all the equipment required to harness the collection of energy from the wind rotating the blades. Simply put, the wind blows against the blades of a wind turbine, making the blades turn. The rotor starts to spin, causing the shaft to turn. The shaft in turn connects to the gearbox, which increases the rotations from around 15 to 20 revolutions per minute to between 1,000 and 1,800 turns per minute. And when the rotation speed is high enough, the generator uses magnetic fields to convert the rotational energy into electrical energy. Now, the electrical output from the generator is then sent to a substation where transformers convert high voltages of energy into lower voltages that are safer for transmission. Transmission lines then carry the energy to homes and businesses. Now, the equipment required is significant. There are devices to detect wind speed and wind direction, monitoring devices, motors, gearboxes, electrical and electronic control devices, and a plethora of electrical protection equipment, just to name a few. Next slide, please. Now, this slide just demonstrates some of the conditions the wind turbines are subjected to. Very rarely do they come across, as some of the photographs depict, a calm mill pond type environment. So very harsh conditions they are in. We're now going to attempt to show the video. No video.
I think we're going to try and play it at the end, Anton, because having it embedded in the PowerPoint we believe is the issue, why we're not getting the sound. So if we just skip over that one, please, and Martin will cut to those towards the end. Sorry about that, everybody that's watching.
Okay, so the customer required trained technicians who were capable of and had expertise in all aspects of engineering to enable them to work on any of the services within the turbine. And after careful consideration and discussion, it was agreed that we would tailor the course in mechatronics, that we believed that this was the correct approach. And what is mechatronics? Well, mechatronics unites the principle of mechanics, electronics, computing and electrical engineering system. And it's a principle that was developed in Japan and indeed was a registered trademark back in 1971. The company holding the trademark later released the right to use the word to the public, and the term is now used globally. As all the devices within the turbine interlock, one affecting another, an extensive course in mechatronics was indeed the answer. And here at North Lindsey, we developed a course that sees the apprentices in college 5 days a week for 18 months, with only short breaks at Christmas, Easter, and indeed just a single week in August. The apprentices come from as far afield as Kent in the south, indeed north of Wick in the far north of Scotland, Wales in the west, the east coast of Scotland, to name just a few of the coastal areas. And these students are provided with permanent accommodation here in Scunthorpe in a local hotel. Now, the course we set up consists of 13 units at level 2, 10 units at level 3. These all involve in-depth and theory practical exercises. Now, during this time, the apprentices are also required to complete some of their employer training, such as health and safety and sea survival and working at height. On successful completion of these units at the end of their 18 months in college, the apprentices are then sent out to their various sites. But their academic training doesn't end here. In addition to working their full shifts, they're required to complete a further 10 level 3 units, and all these must be completed before they are considered to have successfully completed their academic training at the end of 4 years. The subjects they cover whilst in college include health and safety and the importance of always following the policies and regulations associated with health and safety, electrical and mechanical science and associated mathematics, the use of hand tools, and they manufacture various tools such as pipe grips and dowel extractors. Hydraulics and pneumatics are covered in depth, electrical safety, electronics, and in all areas covering not only the theory but also the practical aspects. They cover business improvement activities such as Kaizen, Lean Six Sigma and 5S. Communication, both verbal and non-verbal, as well as the use of visual aids. There is one component that ties all the controls in the turbine, collating the relevant information and responding and giving the required actions. And to do this, PLCs or programmable logic controllers are used. Now, apprentices are taught the history and structure of PLCs, how they are used to gather the various pieces of information from the turbine and the resulting actions. They learn how to write programs and how to load them and how to use electronic devices to troubleshoot. During their training, they're tasked with projects that incorporate the use of a PLC, teaching the apprentices how to think logically and develop ladder logic programs, how to troubleshoot programs, and how to use this as an aid to locating faults on turbines. But during all this training, it is instilled into them the importance of teamwork. And this year, in aiding them to understand teamwork, they are also participating in the Duke of Edinburgh Gold Award. It is only after successful completion of this intense programme of learning and on completing a gateway exercise, which is a practical assessment incorporating all the aspects of their 18 months of learning, are the now highly competent apprentices accepted by Siemens Gamesa and permitted to move to further training on site on offshore locations. Their progress is still constantly monitored and face-to-face reviews carried out every 3 months by the college-based assessors who travel to their various sites around the UK to conduct these reviews. And the end product is a highly competent and well-qualified wind farm technician who will be an asset to any team leading in the move to a green and sustainable world and ensuring the success of the government's 10-point plan. Thank you for joining us this evening, and I hope this has given you an insight into the extensive capabilities of the DN Colleges Group, both based here at the North Lindsey campus and the drive to renewable energy. And I'd now like to hand back to Martin Butler.
Thank you very much, Anton. So as we've heard throughout the presentation, we've got a few case studies that we can discuss. The Humber Energy Skills Training Academy, we talked about the technology available and what we're doing training wise, etc. And that is meeting a need for the local area, but also for sustainability. We also talked about partnerships. Anton talked about the Siemens Gamesa renewable energy, where we designed a bespoke course to meet both the employer need, but also the wind turbine technician need. And this is an example of what the college do for the local area. Jack Tye is a painting, is an industrial painter, and Jack Tye requested a specific need. So we met that need by designing a training programme, and British Steel, very similar to that. A good example of business support that we provided for British Steel was they required a specific bricklayer. Now, this technique was using no mortar because it was used for furnace lining, and we designed again a bespoke course to meet that need. Next slide, please. So the college reach is quite far. We do look at the local area, we do look at regional variations and regional needs, but we also look at the national trend as well. The college group it as shared expertise, and we share technology and we share ideas, and we also share staff input across all of this. Course design is done as a group role. We also ensure we follow local investment and trends for sustainable economic growth. Now, this is both through normal funding routes, but we can access also local government funds as well. So this is how we help local businesses to develop and grow their own staff. We also complement new technology with education and opportunity. A good example of this was iHelios, where we saw an innovative product and we wanted to be involved with that. And it's this exciting innovation that keeps us buzzing, keeps the students coming to the college, but also it keeps us up to date with the local trends and what technology is out there. We do have a challenge. We have to supply a need. We have got to supply training to that need, however large and small. But we're always willing to talk to any employer that wants to engage with the college, and we do want to assist you the best we can. Next slide, please. So the next slide would be question and answer, and we have one question which has come through the question portal, and it's from an Ian Rains. Now, Ian asked the question. He has sites in London and in the southeast, and he's asked the question, do you provide services in this area? Well, it's a really tricky question to answer that without knowing what sort of service you require, Ian. And please, would you get in touch? You can contact me directly, or you could contact the employer training. You can contact via this email address, which is employertraining, all one word, at dncolleges.ac.uk. I'll repeat that. It's employertraining, all one word, at dncolleges.ac.uk, and we'll be happy to discuss your requirements. So thank you. Please get in touch if you've got any questions or anything we can help you with. That address again is employer training, that's all one word, at dncolleges.ac.uk. Thank you very much. Good evening.